Chapter 31. That night, as the moon shines through the caravan window, Stan sleeps with his hand dangling into the goldfish tank. He feels little fins and little tails rippling against his skin. He dreams of jaws and vicious teeth. He dreams of dancing to weird watery music. Behind her screen, Natasha can't sleep. She feels like she'll never sleep again. She stares into the moon and listens to the music from a waltzer and feels like she's waking from a sleep that's lasted forever and a day. Dostoevsky snores, turning and turning in his own narrow bed. His dreams are of Siberia, of blizzards that howl and ice that turns the earth as hard as steel. He dreams of a slender woman dancing on a frozen lake of ice, with tiny fragments of frost sparkling in the air around her. And he dreams of his Natasha. In his dreams, she too is in a world of ice and frost, a world so cold the girl has turned to ice herself. But there is a glimmer on the horizon, a hint of dawn. Maybe it means that the sun will return and his Natasha will start to thaw, will start to live again. But reader, let's leave this trio for a moment in their caravan. Let's have something like our own dream. Let's rise through the caravan roof and over this strange field filled with sideshows and rides and peculiar practices and magical moments and fires and chops and spuds and scorpions and fishing tents. Let's rise into the moonlight so that the fires shrink to the size of fireflies. The spinning waltzer becomes like a distant comet. Let's rise so the town contains the fairground is shrinking too. We can see glistening vastness of dark sea nearby and the huge bulges and jagged tops of the mountains. Let's rise towards the moon and the stars and the wonderful, terrifying hugeness of the universe. Let's look down as if we were the moon itself and see if we can see what has happened to the other fragments of our story. Look, there is the road between the mountains and the sea that Stan, Dostoevsky and Natasha followed in their journey from Fish Key Lane. Let's follow it back the other way. Look, there is Fish Key Lane itself, so far off, near the abandoned shipyard. Let's travel through the night and move closer to the place. How can we do this? You may well ask, but it's easy, isn't it? All it takes is a few words put into sentences and a bit of imagination. We could go anywhere with words and our imaginations. We could leave this story altogether, in fact, and find some other story in some other part of the world and start telling that one. No, maybe later. It's best not to leave our story scattered into fragments. Let's find them and start to gather them up. Aha! Look there, down on the road leading from Fish Key Lane. See them? Two tattered figures stumbling through the moonlight with sacks on their backs. Let's go closer. It's a woman and a man. Are we surprised to see that this is Annie and Ernie, the evicted relatives of Stanley Potts? They seem to have hardly anything with them, just a few belongings tied up into bundles. Let's go closer still. What's in their eyes? Sadness, but determination too. Surely it is the determination to find their lost boy and bring him back into their fold. Perhaps they've heard a story of such a boy working on a hooker duck stall on a piece of waste ground in a not too far away town. Perhaps they... But how can we know what they know and what they think? Can we enter their minds with words and our imagination? Perhaps we can. But listen, we don't need to. They're speaking. We'll find our Stan, says Annie to Ernie. Aye, we will, says Ernie to his wife. The two of them step onwards through the night that is already turning into dawn. There we are then. They are heading in the right direction. Maybe it won't be long before they're right back where they should be, at the heart of the story. Keep going, Annie. Keep going, Ernie. The story is waiting for you. Your boy's waiting for you. Ha! See how they lift their thumbs when the early traffic passes. They're hitchhiking, reader. Let's hope a friendly driver takes them in and carries them fast towards the fair. But what's that now? Clattering along the road in the pre-dawn dark. Oh, heck. It's the daft van. And is that Clarence B. Clapp inside it, his hands on the wheel? Is that Doug and Alf and Fred and Ted squashed in beside him? Yep. It is. Their expressions are urgent and determined too. The engine of the daft van roars. Its wheels rattle and rumble. Does Clarence P. recognise the two hitchhikers at the side of the road? Perhaps he does. He slows the van to a walking pace as he passes Annie and Ernie, as if he's about to offer them a lift. But of course, he's only teasing. Their faces brighten, then darken as they recognise the van. They lower their thumbs. They look away. Clarence P. Clapp winds down the window, and along with Doug, Al, Fred and Ted, he hurls a volley of abuse into their ears. Then there's a din of laughter, and the daft van's gone, hurtling towards Stan, hurtling back into the tail. I'm going to stop it there.